This is a peg of broken dreams, I think. I'm trying to put a brave face on it, but this is the wood at Culham, which everyone wants to avoid, and this is where I am. I'm the first peg in the best section, so technically the worst peg, because it just gets better and better as you go to my left. And I've got Simon Willsmore, James Dent on the last 4 pegs, which are awesome. So James Dent's tying with me on points at the moment, a few ounces ahead, but I can't see Denty being beaten actually up there. It's actually, oh, it's one of the 2 pegs I wanted. But this is like, we're in the wood. It looks lovely, doesn't it? You choose this for a day's fishing, but up there they've got the reeds and everything, and it's just holds a lot of fish up further up. But we'll see. It doesn't even look like I can get a platform in there. We'll give it a go. We'll try. But that tree falling down ain't got a lot of room. Gutted drawing here, absolutely gutted. And there's 5 people ahead of me on points and weight. There's 3 of us on 3 points, there's 3 people on 2 points, and they've all drawn well, apart from me. So get me excuses in now, but I think I need to pull a rabbit out of the hat. But we'll give it a best shot. Well, I've just found this, just behind my peg. I don't know if it's a makeshift fishing rod and a little bit of a lure at the end. I think it might be a bit of a naughty boy's poaching tool. A little bit wound up on a bit of a stick. God knows what they're trying to catch with that. Shall I try it today? Everyone's balled it, so I'm the right thing there. Ball's over the top now. There's no feed in those first balls. Straight out and sack up, hopefully. Well, as usual, I had loads of time set up. A little bit of a mad panic at the end because I forgot a couple of things that I hadn't set up. Quickly set up a short one Bleak and my feeder rod all clipped up ready anyway. I'm not going to feed my feeder line just yet, because if it's, well, one I want to just get on these roach, if they're out there. I'm going to give this half an hour at least. Inside. Two 10-pound roach straight away, and then they'll disappear. So it's time to catch them before they disappear. First chuck roach on a red mag. Not a bad one. just got to take a shot. I thought I'd check this rig, but obviously not. Take one of those off. Well, that's a good start anyway. I need a good start because I'm not on the best peg in the section by a long way. I've tried to stack all the odds in my favour. For getting a nice start at roach. Nice sort of semi-cloudy mix chucked in, and then just a neat ground bait mix over the top. So I mixed in a bag of black damp lean basically. Come on, there's got to be more than one roach there. Wait a little bit for that one. Dave Kirk below me netting a roach already. Can't see anyone. We'll just have to hope for the best. It's doubled over, look. Good. The caster on straight away. I'm just fishing about 2 inches over depth to begin with. Ooh, he's off. Big fish. Not been found. Oh, snot. Oh dear. Found with the skimmer. Oh dear. Bugger. Look a little bit time to have it. I'm really rattling through the baits early doors. I'm just seeing something nice and positive. Maggot caster, worm. What typically happens here, you go bang, 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 and then they just disappear. Come on, baby, come on. Feeding loads, just a smidgen. Well, these fish are a bit cute. Go on. Yeah. That was playing with it for a while, that. Something better one, maybe? Not same size. No, same size. Netting these fish is sometimes spang me out. I'm looking at it, that hook length's gone already. That was, yeah. Oh yeah, the hook length. It's deep enough. Back up. 16 to 09. If it was Monday I'd have started on 010, but it's just because it's gone a bit funny now. And the bites are already a little bit iffy. Seem to be. So it's a little bit of worm, big enough for a roach. Or small enough for a roach, big enough for a skimmer. I just half fancy catching an odd fish on worm today. I've not put any worms in my ground bait at all up to today. It just felt right. The thing is, if I catch £10, they'll probably catch £12 to £14 further up, because it does get much better the further left you go. The peg to my left actually won the section yesterday though with £16. There's different theories, because it was like almost last in section the day before, but the guy the day before fished the feeder on day one, and which kind of rests the pole, and a lot of the regulars here think if no bait's gone in on the pole, it tends to be better the second day. You'd think it'd be the other way around, wouldn't you? You'd think the more bait goes in the better, but it's one reason why I'm trying to get away, fish further out as well. I should be past where anyone else's bait's gone, I think. Oh, if there's any amount of fish there at the start, you just catch on whatever you put on the hook, then you've got to work at it. I just thought, a bit of worm, then I'll catch them a bit better. Clearly not. So let's put a caster back on, because there's plenty of casters in the peg. I don't hook it, I sort of semi-deep hook it, a little bit deeper than a maggot, not buried. Just seems to be dead right for the river on a canal. I generally just bury it. Dinking a few casters in, rightly or wrongly. It's not flowing loads, but yesterday I had 2 swims. I was catching bang on the balls, and then probably 3 or 4 metres down the peg. That's better. Nearly didn't see it because the white boat going by meant I couldn't see it. Oi, 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 oi. I thought a pike had in there. Suddenly turned round and went mental. Better, wasn't he? A roach. Somewhere amongst that is a roach. Just buried itself in all that weed. I did spend 10 minutes trying to get as much of it out the peg as possible. Just with a little weed blade. I just heard Dave Kirk shout to the guy below him. He's got 5 roach and 5 drops. Now he can't get a bite. Below him's got 2 fish, so I'm doing alright. These are the ones. Them's are the ones. Look at that. Single maggot, that one. Skimmer. I lost before, I think, one about that size. See, 4 ounce. Gone ages without a bite. I've just had that on double pinky. Oh, and a tree. It's sounds like everyone's stopped catching now. So it's not just me, but that one's just come out of the blue. So if there's a few little skimmers about, that's be a nice sign. I missed a bite, lifted it, dropped it, and it went straight away. So those skimmers sit off the bottom a lot. So that was on double pinky. We'll put a light rig up with single pinky soon, but there are some bleak, the big bleak, so they're worth catching. If I have to start targeting those. But everything's been bang over the feed, nothing down the peg. Downstream wind's really not helping either. I'm almost holding it still over the feed at the moment, just letting it, edging it through ever so slowly. Had nothing running it. I don't think the bottom layers are moving anyway, so probably got like a metre trot, and I might as well bring it back to the top of the peg again. Ooh, that was a bite. Go on. Sure. Funny sort of bite. This can add a little tiny perch, which is never a good sign. Just for a few fish are there again now. There was literally nothing there for 20 minutes. Come on. Completely disappeared. And loose feeding doesn't seem to be doing anything whatsoever. So I'm going to cop in a nice big ball. Biggish. Full feed. Pinkies and casters. Not had a bite short, not had a bite on my chop there. I half expected. I've topped up my chop there. I've got on it again, still nothing. Let's get my feeder on ready. So that's that 6-hole feeder, decent sized feeder. A bit of grabbing. Chop worm left. Give it one of those to start with. I'll mix a little bit up. Beautiful. A couple of seconds. First look back on the pole. Stop loose feeding for a bit because it doesn't seem to be doing anything. If I don't get a response from the top, then I'll just loose feed them for the rest of the day. So I'm just dropping it in a foot above the ball and it run down. If I get a response, it just means we can top up. Something there. Might be a bleak though. Just sort of lifted, sort of body lifting up. Classic bleak bite. Check that way, but I don't think it's been marked. No. Double pinky, then we'll put the 20 hook on and single pinky. Start positive. They've just drifted off. The roach and the Thames are drifters, that's for sure. They'll be back last hour, I think. Just if we can winkle some out on and off before that as well. A lot more overcast today, so I imagine them pegs above me will be catching all day. That's being red hot like it was yesterday. It's definitely a few degrees cooler today. 5 minutes and I'm going to go on that feeder. Just need to get a string of fish together now somehow, from somewhere. But no one's really caught on the feeder in this section, so we might catch a few skimmers, you don't know. I can always re-ball this. See if we can ring the dinner bell again. That's the problem with river roach when it's hard. It's the $1 million question. Do you cup it in? Do you boil it? And then do you top up? Do you re-ball it? These questions, every day is different. Every peg's a bit different. But this is where the matches are won and lost. Sometimes being mega positives away. And the only way you'll get a little run of bites. It's not working at the moment, anything I'm doing. And we know there's fish there. But they've just drifted off for everyone. I don't think anyone's getting a bite now. You catching, Dave? No, same. A very quick go short one for Bleak. Where I've been cupping in. Not some envisaged to be. Just never know. Right. Those. I'm not a fan of Bleak, but catch them when you gotta catch them. Catch one Bleak and then nothing. Obviously a lot deeper. They're catching, aren't they? Do right at those, but they're a bit deeper. To go to catch some Bleak. Well, this is the only bite I'm going to get at the moment. No one can catch now. I've had a little look for Bleak, I've had 3 or 4. But even they're not really worth catching at the moment. I'm going to have a few little casts on this. Anything about. Got worm on at the moment. Clonking bream at Culham, but I've not heard of anyone catching any for a while. Pegs to the left normally catch a load of bream. Still humming and I'm able to re-ball it on the pot. It's just humming and ahhing in those quiet spells whether to just keep persevering and wait for that little run on the pole.
Have a look, go for bleak. Chop worm down the side seems completely useless. By day 3 they've seen a bit of worm anyway, I imagine. So I'd say this is my best chance of getting something reasonable. If there's anything about feeding. Thought I had one on. Nick the bottom end of me worm. Try that again then. Really awkward cast with the trees behind me. Sort of swing it to the right. Roach. I was just about to say, all I was catching, I probably had 8 or 9 decent bleak, fishing 1.5 rig, full depth, just over depth actually, and pinky on the 20. Oh wait, but I was I've tried to go catch these bleak off the deck properly. Seems best to fish full depth, get a much better bite, hit a fish, and catching a lot faster anyway. And I've got more chance of catching a roach if one comes along like it just did. But there, I picked up a big old bleak. Don't mind catching one like that. There's a few pound of those. You just have to change the hook every time, change the hook bait every time. As they smash it. Just arrived there, except for those 2 walls I put in and what, but they're right low. But they must be eating these casters as well, because I'm start feeding a few casters as well. There's a load there now. There's that one. I'm just trying to bomb it down, almost trying to avoid the bleak. But I don't mind if I catch them at the moment when they're that size. Runner just come up and they reckon they're struggling up the other end, which I'm absolutely gobsmacked about. If I can keep catching these bleak, I'll be laughing. But I've heard Cam Hughes is emptying it in his section. So he's going to win the festival, I think. That's something happened. Jon Arthur was catching a few. they're all limited to £3 up the top in our section. And we've both got that, me and Dave, after an hour, I like to think. So as long as they're not telling porcupines, it's fishing hard all the way along, and we're in the race. But I've heard that all before. They've probably got £6-7. Almost worth catching. This is probably a small one. Even that's not a bad fish. He's only just hooked. I might catch an odd roach or something in this. See if we can keep trying to cast it down again. But at the moment, I'm coming off these herrings. Chucked 6 balls in with no feed whatsoever, and caught one with some feed in. Narrow on it, although the frame wasn't too bad. Ooh. Dave's caught a roach straight away doing it, so hopefully there's a few there now. Ooh, that was a big perch or something I just bumped. Ooh. Bugger, bugger, bugger. I had nothing ligging on. So I've just come 2 inches off the deck. Funny old bite that was. I think it was a 4-ounce perch, something like that perhaps. That really slow, funny bite. As expected, the river's fishing rock hard and the sun's proper out now. Oh, I could have done with that fish. No bleak or anything moving now. Had a nice little run of bleak, and that just went completely dead. And now the whole river's dead. I bet it's a lot of them down there, just not opening their mouths. 3 days of pressure. Don't like it. Well, I've weighed £5.14. Reasonably happy with that weight on the day. It's fished absolutely rock hard. I got told I was 4th in section, but I think actually I'm 5th. I think they've told me wrong. So I think there's been a £6 and a £6 one on the end, and then but one, and then 4 pegs from the end. Simon Wilsmore's won the section with £8, and Dave Kirk above me's had £7. 25 roach for that. That's the same peg that won the section yesterday, so there's obviously a pocket of big roach there. So I'm perhaps on the end of them, I don't know, but I'm a bit gutted really. I think I'm one big roach off 3rd in section, maybe 4th, well definitely one fish off 4th in section, and I think that's going to cost me a place in the top 10, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm absolutely shattered. It's time to get home. There's no presentation or anything with all this coronavirus business going on, so we'll just find out tonight what where we've come, and that'll be that. There's no it's going to be a bit of a strange one. A nice festival, fantastic festival, really well run, really well organised, top anglers, probably the strongest field I've ever seen on this festival. All the England internationals have decided to fish because all their internationals have been cancelled, so they've come to the Thames instead. So but no, it's been a good festival. Enjoyed it, caught a lot of fish. Today's been a struggle, but it's been a struggle for everyone. I'd have took a 4th in section off this at the start. I think that's all the peg was worth, but I've come 5th. So and looking back, I think a 3rd was definitely within reach. 2 or 3 more good roach, and maybe even a 2nd. But ifs, buts and maybes. I'm sure we've all got stories like that. So anyway, it's time to get home, unpack, and get the commercial gear out again. Well, it's a couple of days later, and I've just trying to feed the fish in my pond. They're a bit reluctant. The big fish are definitely not biting today. There's odd ones coming up, but all the big boys are shutting up shop, and it's all my little babbies. They're all having a feed. So a bit like the river the last few days. So but yeah, the dust has settled, and it took ages for the results to come through. Obviously, they've had to do it all and double check everything. And to my surprise, I've ended up coming in the top 10. I've come 10th overall, which is fantastic for me. Absolutely made up with that. I just picked Matt Godfrey, Bradley Gibbons, and Alex Clements on weight, I think. So really happy, very good company there, I think. Cam Hughes has won it. And I think right at the start of the video I listed 4 anglers who I class as probably the 4 best river anglers on the Thames as far as local experts go, and that was Steve Townsend, Steve Harwood, Paul Pasmore and Tom Hobbs. Well, they've all come in the top 10 as well, so I know my anglers, it's fair to say. Sean Ashby was in there, and a lot of very, very good anglers. Obviously, if you come in the top 10, other than me, who's obviously very lucky, everyone else is a very, very good, talented angler. So, but yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting fishing. It's got harder and harder. Everyone said it's fished much harder this year than previous years. Very sunny every day, very clear water, no rain whatsoever. But the roach were there. Everyone said the roach were there, but they were just very hard to catch, and they just switched off. You normally got a little flurry of action first hour or two. And then if you were lucky, if you're on a few fish, you got a late run as well. And I think I don't feel I was in the middle of a roach epicenter on the last day, and that's what's cost me. I just needed that little late 40 minutes on fish. Well, one more 2.5 ounce fish, and I'd have been 4th overall in the festival. But still can't knock 10th overall, still get a prize. And so yeah, happy with that. And now it's time to dust off the commercial gear and get back on the commercial trail. I've got a feeder match coming up at Larford, and then I've got the final round of the UK Champs as well, and I'm top 10 in that as well. So I need a good result in that to stay in the top 10 prizes again. So but yeah, things are going pretty well at the moment, fishing well, and all's well and good. And it'd be great to get back on the Thames again. I'm really seriously considering getting a little more book now, so I can fish the river at Sandford again. I fancy doing a bit of waggler fishing on there, to be honest. So but yeah, so let's watch this space.